It's Blake here at Wrestling Reaction with our WrestleMania 40 kickoff event review. It's not very often you review press conferences, but this, of course, was not your traditional press conference. It was instead one that was headlined by what you see on the bottom of the screen here: The Rock slapping Cody Rhodes and setting in motion the official plans for the main events of WrestleMania 40. We're going to talk about the other stuff later. Bianca Belair had some things to say. We'll talk about potential opponents for her this year at WrestleMania. Also, the Becky Lynch Rhea Ripley face off, which I think made it very clear the direction they're heading in with those two for WrestleMania 40. But we are going to start with a slap heard around the world: The Rock slapping the taste out of Cody Rhodes' mouth on stage in Las Vegas after a wild sequence of events that, in all honesty, let's call it what it is, that all started at the Royal Rumble when Cody Rhodes won back-to-back Royal Rumbles, becoming the fourth person to ever do that. He pointed at Roman Reigns. The follow-up on SmackDown, where Cody comes out, says everything he said, and then says he's not going to take everything from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which led to Cody stepping aside, handing his spot to essentially The Rock to come in. And then from there, let's call it what it is. I think it was an obvious pivot out of what they decided to do after the fan reaction to The Rock, all the boos, the "we want Cody" stuff, everything. So they clearly made some changes. And I find it almost impossible to believe that they didn't based on the reaction. Now, here's what I will say: it's good. It's fantastic that they decided to make these changes. And even if there are still holes in the story a bit, which I think you can absolutely say, based on where they got to, which we're going to talk about, at least they made it entertaining. At least they made it somewhat intriguing to try to figure out exactly where this thing is going to head next. And yes, at least it gave us heel Rock. So, from that standpoint, I will start with this. No matter what the initial decision was, to have, The Rock basically change course, if you want to believe that's the direction they went, after the boos, after everything else that came along with it, to that I say bravo to The Rock, because you're talking about, a box office attraction here, the likes of which, wrestling has not seen before, with The Rock coming in, getting cheered in his first couple appearances back here recently. And then the one most recently, he gets booed, and we're getting Rocky sucks chants. We're getting it on shows he's not even on. Um, he could have easily just kind of said, "Hey, we're going to power through this. I don't care what these people think. We're just going to keep this thing going." But I think it is clear at this point that they made some changes. They decided that let's lean into this instead of just letting this thing lead into a Rock versus Roman Reigns situation in Philadelphia at WrestleMania 40 that's going to get them booed out of the stadium. It's going to just completely, take over everything. And so I think they decided to lean into it. Now, I know there are still people out there who think this was the plan from the start. I just am not buying it because of that not at WrestleMania line that Cody said on SmackDown. Otherwise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, there is one theory out there that says, okay, well, maybe The Rock misled Cody, right? Like maybe The Rock and Cody had talked. Rock gave him advice. Ultimately, it was the wrong advice. Cody realized it once The Rock started turning on his fans on the Pat McAfee show, doing the Cody Crybabies thing. And then as things started to escalate on the stage with everyone out there, maybe Cody finally realized, hey, enough of this, like he said, enough of this BS. And he comes out and chooses Roman Reigns to take that spot from The Rock, who, we saw Roman Reigns choosing The Rock, which Cody's like, you knew when Roman Reigns chose The Rock, you knew that's when they had you. Like, okay, we're getting Cody Rhodes here versus Roman Reigns, because otherwise we know Roman can't pick his opponent. That's not how this thing works. So, I mean, this whole thing, again, you're just trying to do circles on like the plot point and everything that kind of led to this. But ultimately, I think this was probably one of the best options they had available, was to just lean into the booze, lean into the disdain for The Rock even thinking about taking Cody Rhodes' spot at WrestleMania to finish the story, and going all in on that, because they've gone all in on this. Unless you want to go with one of the other theories. And here's what you're going to realize as we talk through this: there are so many different theories you could come up with to try to figure out exactly how they're going to go about this. And that is, again, a good thing, because even if it's not been perfect to this point, they at least have our attention. They at least have questions. They have open loops that they have to somehow close here along the way. And I'm curious. So that's a good thing. But you have them going all in on the fact that you've now got essentially this alliance between The Rock and Roman Reigns, the bloodline. Not in the way we thought. We thought The Rock was coming for the head of the table, all this other stuff, which again goes back to when The Rock made his return. Why say all that if this is the direction you're going? But we move beyond that because the plan has clearly changed. And so you get the setup here with The Rock slapping Cody after Cody talking about his family, all of this other stuff. He's not just talking about Roman Reigns' family, he's talking about The Rock's family too. And you get the big visual up there of the bloodline tree, which I thought was a great touch just to see that on the screen and really push, the importance of that to both Roman Reigns and The Rock. And of course, that led to the situation where The Rock winds up slapping Cody, and you get that visual of Cody just completely pissed off. You get Seth Rollins stepping up for Cody, which is not something you would have expected here.